Oh no! Can you guys hear me now? She needs to give one of us her cell so that we can text her. I could actually, I could actually see everything live right now because of my Wi-Fi connection with T1. The audio, and the thing about audio, guys, is that you guys should hear me now. Let me give you a moment to come back here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Yes, yay! Okay, let me tell you guys how difficult it is to live stream. It has nothing to do with career coaching because I literally have to set up all of my lights and I can't use the natural light um, from my high rise because as the sun changes and living in Seattle, it's unpredictable. So I have to make sure my light is set up, my audio is set up, my music is set up because I do too want to get you guys pumped up before I show up. And sometimes you're going to forget pressing an extra button here or there. Great. Now that you all can hear me, let's start all over again. Because this is live stream, I will not be cutting out any of the video session because YouTube really do care for engagement. If I were to make it pretty and shorten the live stream, YouTube just won't help me promote my content because of all your thumbs up and all of your questions. If I were to edit any video, it would remove all of the engagement, and I don't want that to happen. So continue supporting me. I love seeing thumbs up. Drop all of your questions. As mentioned a second ago, if we are really meeting for the first time, my name is Holly Lee. I am a certified career coach. I spent 2 decades in technical recruiting, primarily for big players such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, and a couple startups. In my career, I'm simply here to help you land a job with your company. Notice I did not say dream company because oftentimes the grass is not always greener from the outside. At least that's what I'm sharing with all of my clients, okay? With that being said, you really don't know what your passions are. You really don't know what you're getting yourself into until you get that job and you've started with the employer 30, 60, 90 days downwards, okay? That's why I am very adamant that I'm not just a career coach for Amazon, but I'm a career coach for I don't care what company that you love to get into, and my goal is just help you land that job offer, okay? With that said, many of you in every single day throughout all of my platforms on YouTube, on LinkedIn, my Patreon community, all of you guys in the chat, someone is going to ask me. So let me just save everyone some time. I want to spend a quick few minutes to talk about the Amazon Bar Racer. How should you prepare for the BR? What are the type of interview questions, either you're interviewing for Amazon Bar Racer or leadership that doesn't belong in the group that you are going to end up working for, okay? First and foremost, the Amazon Bar Racer is simply just like any interviewer. I mentioned briefly in my weekly live stream, but for this session's sake, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into giving you more content. And yes, this video will be called How to Handle a Bar Racer when this session is done. As always, guys, you could always look at the previous live stream. It is called Amazon Interview Tips. And I have hyperlinked with all of the Q&A questions, so I'm not wasting your time. You don't have to scroll through and see what type of questions are being asked, okay? So let's get right down to the meat. The bar raiser is simply someone who's trying to evaluate if you are better than 50% of the current employees at Amazon, okay? This is somebody who you are probably not going to work with or work for in the same team because this individual, the whole purpose of that person sitting in your panel interview or on-site loop is to show their unbiased opinion because this person is not trying to hire you for their team, right? This person is trying to make sure and help facilitate with the recruiter and the hiring manager to make sure the right competencies or questions are being assigned to the interviewer to make sure all of you people managers out there are sending an email out, carving it out, sending out to the interviewer at least a day or a couple in advance because the bar racer's primary job is to really guide the hiring managers, making sure that everyone in the loop is understanding what they're looking for as far as interviewing you guys. Okay, so that is a big part of a BR. Why is everyone so afraid of this bar racer? A bar racer is just anyone like you and I. Okay, I was actually nominated in the bar racer program back at Kindle. This is like 7 years ago or so, a long time ago. Okay, a bar racer is just really anyone who's been with Amazon. Generally, they have been with the company for about a year or so that has, at the time, I believe it was like 100 or 150 interviewed, which means they have interviewed, reverse interviewed, and to get into the Bar Raiser program, you have to be nominated from someone who is really good as an expert in interviewing. Generally, this person is a level 6 or above, or you don't have to be in a leadership position. You could be an IC. I was an IC when I got nominated. Okay, so you could be an IC as well, but this person needs to know what the hiring bar is at Amazon. Okay, so that's what a bar racer is. So guys, don't feel intimidated, and do not ask me, Holly, how do I know if someone is a bar racer? It really doesn't matter, guys, because the whole point of a bar racer, as mentioned, is to make sure that the interviewers, all of them, are not showing any kind of biases, and this is how they do it. The bar racer, when they facilitate the debrief, which means everyone you have ever talked to, the recruiter, the technical phone interview, assuming that you're a technical professional or not, basically everyone that you've interacted with in the interview panel will sit in a room. Generally is about 2 business days or a week after the panel loop, where they talk about your feedback. Okay, this is very important for you to pay attention, guys. Okay, the bar racer primary job during that time, the role is to provide a brief summary of everybody's feedback. Yes, and by the way, the bar racer, this is addition to what they do on the day-to-day job. This is a volunteer position. Okay, that's why I'm a big fan of the Amazon bar racer program. You know, bless their heart, their job is to interview at least 3 every single week on top of building their own team, and they can't bar raise for their own org. All right? So that's what a bar raiser is. And in the end, the bar raiser will go around the table and ask if anyone need to change their vote. Of course, you want everyone to give you a thumbs up in order for you, interviewers, to get a job offer at Amazon specifically. But keep in mind, professional, I have worked for pre-IPO company as well as other companies who are public as well. I don't want to drop names here, but they have program. They don't call it bar raiser, but they call it something else. And really, it's a bar raiser, right? If you are interviewing for any company at all, there's going to be that one person that doesn't belong in that team. And that is the making of a bar raiser program that's trying to not show any biases on their interview feedback. Okay, it is a good thing. So how should I prepare for the BR? One would ask. You really should treat the the BR equally. That's right, guys. Don't be so frantic. Don't let your anxiety take the best part of you guys. The way of how you prep, of using my famous STAR method, okay? Star, 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 all day long, guys. For those who have followed me in this is my 5th or 6th live session, there are actually a lot of you guys who receive a job offer. How do I know this? Because I get a message from you guys almost every single day. That is right. That is true. Almost every single day. And I would say 70% of you guys that have reached out to me via LinkedIn actually landed a job at Amazon. Okay, 30% of you guys have with companies like Lyft and other brand name companies that just went public in the US. Okay, so the STAR methods, and we'll talk a little bit about cutting your story short within 60 seconds. The way how you treat a bar raiser or someone in a hiring authority position in your team or not in your team, or the hiring manager, it doesn't matter, guys. At the end of the day, you really need to have your story down. Okay? Let me repeat myself. Your story is the key, most important thing, to be concise, to the point. There's only so much I can talk about live streaming because I truly need to know you guys. I need to look at your credential in order to help you create your story. If you're interested in that, I do host a Patreon VIP tier. That's my tier number 3, where we have live coaching. Actually, it was yesterday, every Monday for 2 hours where I help you through with mock interviewed and working on creating or crafting your story to make them perfect. If you're interested in that, I'll leave everything we talk about in the link below. But let's move on to the second thing is what type of interview questions from the Bar Raiser. I have a template and you can download all of my template, guys. The template that you should really pay attention to be honest with you, it's all of them. That's why I've invested a lot of my time, and there are 5 different templates. It's hallslee.com/freebie. Everything will be in the link later on. All the link are in all of my videos, by the way. I'm making it so easy for you guys to find all of my resources and free content. Okay? It is called Interviewer Template. There, I broke it down for you guys. What questions should you ask the bar racer or basically in a leadership position that is not in your team? I've broken down with how or what you should ask the hiring manager down to your peer level. Okay, so download that down. At the end of the day, a lot of the questions, if you take what I have already put out for you guys and just align it with the position you're interviewing for, it's really the same type of questions. Okay. And if you have any questions regarding those templates, you could reach out to me or show up in this live stream every single Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. And that's how you get yourself ready. And as we are going to Q&A in a minute here, you shouldn't be asking me how to handle a bar raiser because I've literally just give that to you guys, okay? I want to focus all of your Q&A on what you should prep, what step of the processes that you are in, and how should I come in to facilitate and guide you through in passing either your phone screen stage or your on-site, and how should you handle your first conversation with the recruiter, okay? Lastly, I wanted to talk about is, again, and again, don't focus so much of your energy on the bar racer. I know I'm being redundant here, and I'm going to say one last time, it is just like any interviewer, okay? You are going to join Amazon or join ABC company. Eventually, they're going to have a program called Bar Racer, or they call it whatever program they want to, and you are going to be one of them. It's just an interviewer. That's really it, okay? So with that said, I really needed your help here. Let me know if this is new by saying new. If you have a questions for me, put a big Q in front of your questions so I know to go dive right down to the questions so that I'm not being redundant, okay? If I skip your questions, that means that I have just literally asked that questions. You can scroll back up in the replay. I would say give me a couple of hours where I make everything pretty and put all the Q&A for you guys. Okay, let's dive right into the question and see who is here. I hope my audio is functioning, guys. I'm not repeating all of that, by the way. Hello, everybody. Let me scroll back. Thank you for being here. The 18 of you guys who actually gave me thumbs up and put your comments. Say, hello, Luca. Greetings from Italy. Yay! I really miss Italy. Italy is actually my favorite place in all of Europe. The food, the wine, the culture, what's there not to love? So hopefully in 2021, I'd be able to go back there. Hey, Denise, welcome. Thank you so much, my Patreon community, for coming in and supporting me. By the way, guys, one of the creator, they call Live Streaming Pro. I took on the challenge to go live every single day starting August 1st for 31 days straight, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless it's my every Tuesday, same time, 12:30 or 12, give or take. If I see that there's a lot of you guys coming on, I will jump on, and you guys know how I work. Starting on August 1st, I have a special treat for all of you guys who's interviewing for level 6 and above. There's quite a few level 7 as well. I noticed by the amount of people who are coming up as well as to my Patreon community. So every Thursday at 3 p.m., I will be hosting something very special. It is my leadership series. Either you are an individual contributor or in a leadership role, how Amazon and a lot of the corporation view the higher level IC, you have to demonstrate your leadership quality. And I'll explain every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, starting next Thursday, which is August. Okay. So expect for me to go live every single day. I'm not sure if I wanted to put a live link on YouTube. So if you haven't already and you're watching, I know there's a number of you guys, there's generally a couple hundred of you guys who are very shy in the back office. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because when I do go live, YouTube, not me, YouTube will send you an email to let you know that I'm going live, hence the timer, okay? To let you guys know so you don't miss the very beginning. Another way for us to really stay connected, for you to follow a lot of my free coaching, is to sign up in my business, on my business page. That's halsey.com. Okay. When you sign that up, I generally will send a message the day before to let you know when I'll be going live. Okay. But if I'm doing it 31 days straight, I probably won't be able to do that every single day. But you guys got the idea. Hey, Christy, thanks for coming back. I've been following you for a week now. I'm waiting to confirm my first phone interview. I've noticed that everyone that has tuned in have had numerous. That is correct. Hey, RTB, thank you so much for coming in. Even though you've landed a job offer, you came back to support me. Thank you for being here. That made my day. During the interview process, the recruiter had reached out to me. Let me just showcase so everyone knows what I'm doing here. Christy says the recruiter had reached out to me and said that I would have a phone interview if passed the on-site with 2 executive for HRA position in Indiana. That is awesome, Christy. Christy, you may want to look at my previous stream, not the last week, but especially the first 3 streamed. I do talk a bit about HRA, which is human resource assistant, human resource business partner, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of content in how I can help you prep for your phone screen as well as the on-site or the panel interview. Make sure you check out the previous stream. Okay? Amazon interview tips. And RTB says, offer accepted and got an email from data station screen for background check. That is true. As soon as you accept the job offer, RTB, the recruiter will immediately run a background check, because that generally take a week or 2. If you have lived in other state other than the same state that you're in, it could take up to 2 weeks. And if you have lived in international or a number of different places, it could take up to 2.5 or 3 weeks, which is why running the background check is the very first thing that the recruiter would do. Okay, my friend? And if they are doing a background check and calling your previous employer, they will let you know, but generally they won't be contacting your current employer. That is a conversation that you should have with your recruiter. Okay. Hi, CBH. I think this is your first time tuning in. Correct me if I am wrong. I've been waiting 2 business days since the scheduler asked me about my availability for second round interview. Typically, how long does it take to hear back to be scheduled? It could be up to 2 weeks, okay? As mentioned in the last stream, I think a lot of the hiring loop or just employers alone at all the company, this is not just Amazon, they're getting used to working remote. And also the recruiter can't just go in someone's office or go to the cubicle and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Hiring Manager, you need to accept that on-site or interview invite. Hey, you need to put your feedback in so we can move the candidate forward to the next round. They can't do that because now the recruiters have no visibility of where the interviewers are at and really relying on following up or pinging them to chime. Okay, that's really the bottom line of why it has taken a little bit longer than expected, of the recruiter really trying to hunt down the interviewer to move things as quickly as they can for you. I like to always think of it as good intent. Oh, look, talking about Europe, this is my Starbucks. So when I used to work for Amazon and I did a lot of international recruiting every month or so, Spain or South America was a big territory of mine, and Eastern Europe. This is actually from Madrid. Hello, Sweeta. How are you? Sweeta says, I'm interviewing for a program manager tomorrow. Fingers crossed for you. I have a background in implementing CRM business solution for my customer and project manager experience. Any last minute tip? No, I would have to say that when it comes to interviewing specifically for Amazon, the interviewer really love to dive deep. So if you are going to say you have CRM business solution experience, make sure you know that area very, very well, because the interviewer will dive deep with the probing questions to learn more about what you actually have built and know to execute as a program manager. Okay. I don't expect there to be technical questions. The only technical part is your CRM functionality and areas of expertise. Let me know how that worked out for you and send me a message via LinkedIn, because I'm always curious to know the end result of all of my YouTube community. Hey, Srinivasa, how are you? Hi, Sergio. Holly, I just want to thank you. Did you say you got an offer? I got an offer for a machine learning solution architect. I will start next week. Yay! Thank you so much for sharing that. You deserve it. This is very normal, guys. Thank you so much. It really means the world to me that you are popping in, taking your time. I would love that, because that's really motivating majority of the audience, which is about 90% of you. And generally there's about 50% of my audience who are brand spanking new to my channel, who have never even met me, showing up every single week by me answering your questions live and pumping out content for you guys. If you truly did watch all of it, starting with my Amazon leadership principle, and there's only 8 videos, guys, they're only about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max, if even that long. Okay. I mean, you have to put in the work in order for you to see tremendous result in landing a job offer. And it does work. Thank you so much, Sergio. Hi, Michael. Can you please provide example of a failure questions? There are actually a couple of those in the previous stream. Michael, a time where you have failed. Remember, let me just put this here so everyone can see your questions. A time when you have failed is not really where you have made a mistake or fail, but also what are you learning from that experience, and giving the opportunity to go back. What would you have done differently, Michael? Okay. So that's what employer wanted to see. Again, this is not just for Amazon. This is like the #1 top questions for all employer. All right. So make sure when you're giving example, you're giving very high level, concise, but make sure you're providing clarity. What is the situation and the problem that you're trying to solve, and why didn't it work out? What could you have done differently with a better result? Okay. If you have ROI, any kind of return on investment, even though it's not the best answer, what was your result? So you're not leaving the interviewer hanging there. Okay. And for those of you who have landed a job at Amazon, please do share your feedback at the bottom of this questions. I know it's been asked with the Amazon interviewer, so share the type of answer that you've given to this one specifically as well. But an area where you have failed, or tell me about a time where you have solved the most complex problem. What if it didn't work out? Look at the previous stream. I know for a fact that I've answered that and given a couple example as well. Hello, Denise. How are you? I didn't get the contract job at Amazon, but did get feedback. I did well in the interview, so Holly's tip really do. Well, thank you for giving that feedback, and I hope to see you every Tuesday on my stream, or every day starting August 1st. I'm happy to be here and help you guys. I'm showing up for you because I can't be on here. The reality is my stream actually lasts for 3 hours, so now I'm trying to cut it down to 1 hour every single day, showing up for all of you guys. Okay, so when you do show up, the biggest tip I can give you guys to make our time more efficient is do your homework. See if I already have a video that is out there for you. If you look at the previous stream, whatever questions you have, the audience has already been asked. So ask me probing questions on top of that, and that's how our time will be more efficient. Okay. I even used a star method for a phone interview yesterday for another tech company. Yes, star. Thank you. I get super excited when I see the word star, because every single person, guys, 100% of the people who are in my Career Accelerator Masterclass, or in my Interviewer Accelerator, private coaching, Patreon coaching community, whatever you wanted to call them, basically working with me where I support you. I get a lot of, Holly, Does the star method really work? And someone's going to ask me this in this live stream because I get it every single week. It does, guys, because I even have a template for you guys. That's how easy I'm making it for you. So before you're telling me, guys, that the star method doesn't work or you have doubt about this, did you really try to create your story around the free template that I have for you? Again, the link is on all of my video. It's under my freebie on my business site, okay? If you download it, if you pay attention to my template, and I talked about it as well, every single 2 sentences per each situation, task, action, and result, that's your story, okay? That is your story. Set the interviewer up, allow the interviewer to ask you probing questions, set them up. All right. If you don't know how to set them up, that's what my Patreon community is for. As you can see, generally, I have a number of you guys pumping up. If I put all of my effort on just one person to help them, our time will end. So I wanted to reach as many people as I can to give you all of my resources. But if you truly want me to dive deep, that's what my Patreon community is for. Thank you so much for mentioning the STAR method. And the fact that you actually talk about the star, you're actually implementing that with companies outside of Amazon is letting me know that you are working your tail off right now. And you know, as part of my Patreon community, I don't shy away in any resource and anything I've ever built. So a lot of the material that I'm sharing with you guys are exactly in my master program as well, because I really do. I get the joy of hearing you coming back and telling me that you have a job offer. Hey, Lashmi, how are you? Hey, Fatima, welcome back. You had your in-person interview last Monday. Received an offer, yay! Well, thank you so much for coming in and letting us know. Fatima, if you don't mind, and everyone is going to ask me about keeping your story concise. And for all of you guys, there's a lot of you guys who are in my Patreon community. Do mention, especially in my VIP program, how making it really concise in 60 seconds or 1 minute or less in critiquing your story around the STAR method does work. So do share your process as well. I'm sure that the 60 people who's watching right now will really appreciate you sharing your experience, okay? Congratulations, Fatima. And I know that this is only your second section that you're coming back, so make my day. Hey, V. Harriet. Second interview went well. Now that I have to give a demo on Thursday, I also have another phone interview lined up next week. Fingers crossed for you, my friend. Gregory says, currently in interview loop for an Ops IT technical support engineer. I made it past the first technical phone screen, wondering if there's any insight going forward. Hey, Gregory, my friend, there's actually a couple streams that I have done. If you go to my playlist, I mean, I only have one live stream playlist, by the way, and that's Amazon. How you guys can tell what is live stream and what isn't, because I actually say live stream on the playlist, okay? And you would actually have to click on the live stream. You'll see it. You can't miss it. I'm making it so easy for you to find it. It is called Technical Support Engineer. There's a couple of them that's been mentioned where I've actually walked you through. I know for a fact because I've recently helped a TSE customer of mine in my interview accelerator. It is all over Glassdoor, all over. No, Glassdoor did not sponsor me. I love Glassdoor all day long. I know for a fact that there are a bunch of interview questions specifically for Amazon. So make sure you look at that, okay? Congratulations, and that's how you prep for the on-site interview. And you need to be able to answer all of my commonly asked questions in the Amazon Leadership Principle playlist, and there's 8 video. Every video, there should be 4 questions, okay, guys? 2 for individual contributor and 2 for people leadership or people manager. It doesn't matter if you're interviewing for level 4, level 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't matter because a lot of the behavioral questions are all the same. They wanted to see how you handle under pressure by asking, by the way how you can dive deep in explaining your work experience and how you were able to deliver result in demonstrating that you have the depth and the breadth for that role, okay? That's why when you guys are asking me how should I treat the bar raiser differently, Don't. Why would you? Because even if the bar racer wanted to incline to hire you, listen, the bar racer's not even doesn't even belong in the team that you're interviewing for. The hiring manager does, and an army of his or her interviewer does. And if those people don't like you, you're not going to get a job offer, even if the bar racer wants to fight for you. And why should they be fighting for you? Because you're not even in their team. Okay? So that's why it's very important to treat all interviewers equally. Okay? Veronica says, I also wanted to ask your opinion on lengthy screening process before you even speak to Evan. What do you mean by lengthy screening process? Are you talking about your initial call with the interviewer? I have been invited to take part in screening sessions, but the interview feedback on Glassdoor is terrible for the companies and suggested they can sometimes takes a couple of days to complete. Can you please verify with me, what do you mean by screening sessions? Yi Ming says, Yi Ming, are you new to my channel? If you are, welcome. By the way, if you're new, make sure you put new, okay? Thank you for all your help. I had my loop last Wednesday for senior financial analyst position. I have so many finance manager and finance analyst tips through the last 5 streams. Still waiting to hear from the recruiter. Does it mean that I am less likely to receive it? No, not at all. It's a number of things, right? If you've had your loop interview already, oh, sorry guys. If you have your loop interview already, that means the interviewer is waiting for everyone to put their feedback. Put yourself in the interviewer's perspective. They're interviewing a number of people across a number of different teams. They never just interview candidates for their own team, right? Either it's the hiring manager or it's the peer, so on and so forth, okay? And also gathering feedback. Now that they have everybody's feedback, they wanted to make sure that everyone is available to show up for the debrief where everybody can talk about their experience, great things of interviewing you. So please don't take that as a sign that it is less likelihood for you to land a job offer. It could also be a great thing, okay? Where, you know, what if your feedback is wonderful and they need to put a rough number of total compensation before the recruiter have the initial conversation with you. If it is a positive sign, your first conversation with your recruiter is to talk about compensation, all right? So it's not always a bad thing. Hey, SOAPOC. I like how you guys are getting fancier with your nickname. This is my first time joining your live channel. I would like to know for product manager, technical PMT, whether Amazon interviewed, asked coding question. That is an excellent question. I get a lot of TPM. I don't have a whole lot of PMT, so let me spend a quick second here, okay? Give me 1 second. Let me take a deep breath. So the PMT is has a lot of similarity with the TPM. I know that Amazon tried to get really fancy about 4-ish years ago. So the role of PMT actually is fairly new. Let me explain. On a normal product manager role, you need to, almost all of your example have to demonstrate how you lead a product, how you execute a product, your customers, how do you deliver to your customers in the entire product management lifecycle, which means you also have to come from a background of program management, right? So the difference between that and a T there is a systems design. So this is why I made the statement, and I'm only making this statement, guys, by the way, my coaching strategies and everything that I'm telling and sharing you guys are based on my personal experience as the lead recruiter, the recruiter and the recruiting leader for Amazon, okay? When I was in consumer hardlines, and I've actually built the PMT, TPM team for hardlines, and during that time, and I'm pretty sure that is still the case, you need to know some level of systems architecture in order to have that conversation with collaboration, which is the engineering team, the design team, which is user experience, user design team, okay? That's why it's good for that individual to come from that technical background. And if you're interviewing for a PMT position or a TPM position, that's telling me that generally you are coming from an engineering, software engineering background, or you're coming from some type of engineer, even software engineer program as well, or have exposure to a lot of the systems engineering on the software perspective. So that's what the PMT is, okay? So I would really brush up on your system design architecture program, primarily in your object-oriented design and your object-oriented analysis, all right? I know for a fact that there's a whole bunch of PMT interview questions on Glassdoor, and I think I don't know if I can stop talking about Glassdoor in every single one of my stream, because that is really the primary resource that I use to coach my customer as well, because everything you need is truly on our best friend google.com. You can find anything on there, okay? Let me know if that answers your questions, SOA. Hey, John. John says, I had an AWS L7. We have a L7 hiring manager, so that means you were interviewing for a senior manager position this morning. It went better than expected and more behavioral question than expected. When you say L7 hiring manager, for what role is it? For what role are we referring to? And was that a phone interview? Was that your first interview, I'm assuming? Well, congratulations either way for passing the initial phase, John. Let me know how that goes for you, okay? Hey, Carla. Hi, Adola. Welcome back. Hey, Lester. Hey, Shivam17. Hi, Anna. I can't, although I am Chinese, but I cannot read Chinese. But hi, I can't read Chinese. But yes, technical difficulty. It's not technical difficulty, it's human error. Hello, Borwa. Nice to see you again. Hey, Payanko. I think this is our first time meeting. Hey, Ramesh. Currently interviewing for a senior TPM role. Any input ideas appreciated. There are a bunch of TPM, and I just mentioned the PMT, so the interview process is fairly similar, okay, Ramesh? And also in the previous live stream, there's a whole bunch of TPM interview tip that I've mentioned on there as well. Hey, Lakshmi. CBH says, wish I could do a live chat with that intensity. Live chat is very intense, guys. If you make one little error, as you can see, it shows and I can make corrections and to erase that in real time. Hi, Dipto. How are you? Lesson 1 for video interview, check your mic. You're so funny. Hey, by the way, guys, I have a video called Virtual Interview Strategies and Playlists with a template there as well. Make sure you check that out, okay? If I'm recording a live video, there's plenty of time and opportunity for me to check my mic. But reason being is that if I were to play music, for example, which I love to do that because it gets everyone pumped up. If you're playing music, you have to mute your mic. If you don't mute your mic, one little movement, you'll be able to hear that in the background. On top of my place actually has a contractor right now behind me putting a lot of the electric wire in there, okay? So that's why it's really important to have a mic with mute button and making sure that you are getting set up an hour before your virtual interview with no music. Hello, Dabashi. Welcome to my channel. Love your photo, by the way. Hi, Jerry. I'm going right down on questions. I know, guys. Hey, Shaman. Thanks for coming back. Shaman says, I am doing fine. Hope all is well. I have my interview with the hiring manager yesterday, but wasn't selected. And I think you mentioned to me that you used the STAR template. And you said, really like the way I explained myself to him. I used the STAR method, and he appreciated me saying that I was precise with the information. Let me move it over here. Okay. That is true. The star method at the very bottom, it helps you to be very concise with your story, but you have to make sure that your story um, makes sense. Okay. Having the story is excellent, but I talked about this in the previous stream that you have to really pre record yourself and practice with a trusted friend or a spouse or whomever that have similar background preferably so they can also give you that feedback, but being able to record yourself even on your iPhone, okay, so you can sound and try to be as polished as possible. Having the story is key, but also the way you articulate your story. Okay, thanks for coming back. Hey, Lee Fam says, quick questions, bilingual positions. How does Amazon test for Spanish fluency during interview? I'm a native speaker, but would be prepared for interviewing. Well, you're welcome. Either you are interviewing for Spain or any geography at all, which I understand the culture very well, building out the Madrid office for them at the time. The interviewer, bottom line is, I know that for a fact that you still have to speak English pretty fluently because it doesn't matter what region you will be working in. You could be in Asia, you could be in Spanish, Argentina, so on and so forth. You still have to collaborate with your peer, which is based in Seattle or somewhere in the US. Okay, so that's how it's being tested out. I have actually shadowed every single one of my interviewer, true story, during my time in consumer, building out the Madrid office, and I've actually slapped the hand of a couple of the hiring manager, even the bar raiser guys. Okay, that's why what I'm trying to share with you. Don't treat the bar raiser any different like any other interviewer because for me, and the Amazon bar is you can't hire someone to just speak fluently in Spanish because once they get the job and they have to have stand-up meeting with the team, for example, right? Every morning with the US team and they don't understand the conversation, how are you supposed to build and launch a product and fix the issue when you don't understand English, okay? So every now and then they may be, using a couple sentences here or there, but the bottom line is you still would have to interview in English. Don't hold my word for that. It's been a couple of years since I built out the Spain office, but I would be very surprised if Amazon is only interviewing you in the native language. Okay, and that's actually an excellent questions for you to ask the recruiter as well to get real-time, up-to-date information. Shimin says, although the hiring manager said. Was it great, great. Shemaine, the one biggest tip that I can give you is think back of the way how you deliver your star answer. I'm assuming that you also have it on a spreadsheet format. And if you look back at your questions, which one of those questions did you have a tougher time answering? And try to go back and revisit your answer to fix that. Okay, so that when you do interview either with Amazon or different employer, it will help you make improvement over time. Hey, Erdem, 7 days have been passed after the loop. I emailed the recruiter for the final decision, but no answer yet. Should I ask again? Absolutely. Generally, when after you have the loop interview, the recruiter would get back to you anywhere between 2 to 5 business days. And if you haven't heard back for a whole week, I will follow up with the recruiter every 2 business days. Perfect bar raise. Thank you. I don't know about that. Leonardo, hi Leonardo from Brazil. How are you? That's an excellent question, CBH. How does a bar raiser get selected to the interview process? The bar raiser needs to be nominated. Normally, how one should get nominated is during the debrief, right? During the debrief, everyone reads your feedback, including the bar raiser. It's the way how you write your feedback. So Amazon has a certain way with the written communication to align the leadership principle, which is why you don't have to be an expert, but you have to know the leadership principle well. Okay. I can't give you an example right now because that would literally take the entire hour for me to do so. But if I were to write my interview feedback of UCBH, I will also tie the leadership principle into that. And after a amount of time, the bar raiser also pay attention to how many have you interviewed, how many people have you inclined and declined, and looking at the data. It's all about the data, by the way, at the data of some, not all of the, the 50, 100 people you have interviewed, but let's say that I will select 2 to 3 and read to see why you would incline someone. And I look at the ones that you didn't incline to see if you know what the Amazon bar is. And if the bar raiser is satisfied and have been sat in the same interview panel with you a number of times, that's how you got nominated. Okay? But generally, you have to have a number of interviewed being sat in a room with different bar raiser who's been with the company for a while. Okay? Great question. Sergio, I have a lot of solution architect in the previous stream. I talked a bit about using the leadership principle in tackling and how you can prep for your interview. So make sure you check that out. And if you can't find those specific videos, Sergio, and I know that you've been coming back several times, ping me on LinkedIn and I could just send you the link right there. Okay? As I mentioned, solution architect is a big role or a very common type of role for AWS. It's also all over Glassdoor as well. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my video on how to get a recruiter to call you. That's exactly what the video is called. That video, I've actually walked you through in how to look for questions. I'll give you a tutorial on using Glassdoor. Okay? And actually, I have a couple of those videos how you could utilize Glassdoor to find exactly what you're looking for. Hey, Ramesh. How do we know who the bar racer is? Do they explicitly tell us? Didn't I just talk about don't ask me any more questions about the bar racer? You don't. The whole point of an interviewer, just like a hiring manager or your peer or anyone, just like you, when you guys are asking questions in how you should prep for your interview, do this, okay? This is a bonus tip for you guys. All of you guys that's watching, ask yourself, if you're the hiring manager, would you go and tell someone, hey, by the way, I'm the hiring manager for this role, or by the way, I'm the bar raiser and this is what I expect from you? Or if you're a peer, you just don't say what you are. It's professional that way because you do want it as an interviewer to demonstrate zero biases, and you don't want to get somebody nervous. You don't want the candidate to be nervous in getting tense up. You want them to be as relaxed as possible in treating you like all the interviewers, okay? So you don't know who the interviewer are. Again, if you missed the first 10 minutes, rewatch this where I talked about the bar raiser and how to handle the BR. CPH, typically it takes a couple days to hear back from the interviewer. If you haven't already, I would absolutely follow up in a few days, every few days. Hey, Jerry. Jerry says, is it acceptable at the end of a video interview for the candidate to ask each Amazon interviewer for the email address in order to be able to send them a follow-up thank you message? Honestly, I wouldn't do that because company likes to protect their employees because they don't want the interviewers to be bombarded with all of the candidate interviewed. One of the things that you guys have to understand is the interviewers interview a bunch of candidates. So if you put yourself in their situation, how would you feel if you have hundreds of people emailing you, or at least a handful of them every single week? One, you don't have time to read through all of them. B, majority of them are not going to make it through the process. What are you going to do? Right? And lastly, those candidates are all going to follow up with you for a job. So rather than reaching out to every single person, I would probably only ask for the ones that I have a great chemistry with. Rather than asking them that, I would just send a thank you note to the recruiter to forward with the interviewer. The bottom line is when you interview the interviewer, even with the first name, okay, you can find them on LinkedIn. So as an interviewer myself, you will stand out for me when I know that you spend your time in searching for me and trying to connect with me than to just simply ask for my contact information. Maybe that's just my style. It just helped to stand out to know that you have gone above and beyond. It also showed that you wanted to connect with me to learn more about the position and wanting to hopefully one day work for Amazon or my team. Okay? It is very easy to find the name of the interviewer. Again, how to get a recruiter to call you. And also, ironically, guys, I just released a video yesterday. Okay? It is called Networking with the recruiter and the hiring managers. Go check out that video. And there's a template to guide you through everything as well. Wow, Fatima, you actually mentioned the Brit. I haven't heard of the Brit for a while. This is like deja vu moment for me. Okay, guys. In my loop interview, the first interviewer was the BR and Brit. BR had so many follow-up questions, but was very fair. Yes, a BR or not, they should all have great follow-up questions. The reason why the BR has more follow-up questions and most likely the best interviewer is because that person is probably the strongest of interviewing, probably have been with Amazon the longest, right? Also been through training, right? The Brit is a bar racer in training. Okay, that means even if you are nominated to be a bar racer, you would even, to earn your stripe as a bar racer, you would also have an X amount of interviewed in order for you to be able to interview someone in solo or individually on your own. That's what the Brit is for. Wow, I haven't heard of that phrase in a long time. That's cool. I love it. Juan says star, 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 star. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sin says star, yes. Questions from the BR made me so much sense. And I mean, if you know your stories, why would you be afraid of the BR? Yes, that is an excellent statement, Fatima. If you do know all your story, you shouldn't be afraid of anybody, right? That's what I mean by you should treat all interviewers equally. And if you guys are anxious about the bar racer, treat everybody as a bar racer. That's also should give you an encouragement to study harder. The one biggest tip that I can give all of you guys, like you have to put in the work, guys. You have to, I mean, seriously, guys, every single thing that I'm telling you guys and preaching to my audience are here on my YouTube channel. I even have a whole playlist that is called Interview, Prepped, and Strategies, a whole interview list of about 5 videos. And no one watched that. From the moment I start making videos and focus on the leadership principle, everybody flapped to that playlist. But guess what, guys? What I talked about in just my my interview prepped, it's the same thing. Leadership principle or not, the strategy is there where I teach you how to research in knowing your background and before you even create your stories. And if you're struggling with having your stories, I also have a video on that. You just have to check out my interview prepped. Okay? Hello, Amit. Hey, Lindsay. I have my second phone interviewed, realized the recruiting process is quite slow. Is there a way to make the entire process a little quicker? No, there is no way. By the way, Lindsay, I love your photo. Check this out, guys. I love it. It's very personable and light. There's really no way. The way for you to maybe help move things a little quicker, it's, generally it takes about 2 to 3 weeks from the moment a recruiter reach out to you to put you through the process until an offer is in your hand. Okay? Generally, it's 2 to 3 weeks. For me, as a recruiter in my time and my time at Amazon, it's about 2 weeks. 3 is really pushing it. Again, now because everyone's working remotely, I think they're trying to figure out how to move fast being remotely and spend the bulk of their time, pinging each other and moving email around and figuring out what is prioritizing for them. Okay, I think that's really the bottleneck of why the process is a little bit slower, but I will maintain that relationship with your recruiter which is why you should watch my yesterday's video on networking. Okay, so you need to keep tab on your recruiter every every 2 business days to follow up just on anxiously waiting for the next process, very excited about Amazon. Can you please let me know what the next step is? Okay, and keep your conversation very light. Hello, good questions, Lindsay. Ramesh says a natural person, correct? Gregory says, currently in loop for an ops technical support. Oh, you're, okay, this sounds like it's repeated questions. Okay, got it. Michelle, how are you? Michelle Diaz says, I noticed that there aren't much research about Amazon technical questions. Let me put that on here. This is a great question. Do you have more insight into key topics, common questions for SDMs? The reason why there's not a whole lot of questions or in-depth questions of technical is because of someone like yourself, right? A lot of people, managers or leaders, just don't simply spend their time to go to Glassdoor or Quora.com or anywhere to talk about the interview experience or even online, okay? So that's why you don't see them. And a lot of the career coaches or content creator like myself, at least my style, I'll answer it as I get questions from audience like yourself. But for me to personally do every single position in every single role would have taken me a year plus just on that. And if I were to do that, it would sacrifice a lot of my effort to talk about the LP or the STAR methods or a lot of the granular meat that you are actually going to get the offer. That's why I don't do it. And that's why I'm here every single week to do this instead. So if you looked at my previous stream, Michelle, there are a lot of STM and engineering, the last stream specifically, where I talked about what type of technical system design and architecture questions that you should need to practice in order to land a job there. I also talk about the functionality of an engineering manager at Amazon, and it's fairly similar to a lot of the companies I work with as well. So make sure you check that out, okay? I just don't want to be redundant to repeat myself because there is a lot of returning folks here that are hearing the same thing. So I want to make sure that those audience are being effective of their time as well. Cool? I'm telling you guys, the video that I just released yesterday has a lot of the commonly asked questions as well with the hiring managers and the recruiters. Hey, Plungible, you're new. Welcome. I started the selection for three SA role in Italy. Another Italy person. Partner SA did first interview technical Monday, but it's KO. Have the Alexa SA role on 10 ago and Gen SA not scheduled. You really just have to make sure that you have all of your questions ready. The senior solutions position, it's literally all over the internet that you can find very specifically, okay? If you guys are struggling to answer any of my commonly asked questions in my Amazon Leadership Principle, you're not gonna make it through the interview process. I don't wanna say I guarantee you that, but yeah, I guarantee you that, okay? So those are the questions that, and someone just mentioned that 70% of the question is based on behavioral. I mean, guess what, guys? A lot of my clients are telling me the same thing. A lot of my clients, 80% of my customers, 80 to 100%, depending on the services, who actually have a job offer, comes back and tell me that 70% of the questions that are being asked, either their software engineer, their administrative assistants, their engineering leader, product managers, TPM, so on and so forth, 70% of them are relied on behavioral question. Denise says, if you could go low tech and have a sticky to check audio before you start talking, well, Denise, what I really need is probably to hire someone to manage all of that for me. That's what Streamer usually does. Eventually, when they do more of this, they would be able to do that. I just need to get back into the zone, which is why, guys, I'm streaming every single day for 31 days in August to make myself better in live streaming with all of my gear. Okay? And you should do the same thing in prepping for your stories. Hey, Ta Flores. Hola. Question about the phone call to people reference. Do I need to ask them to be ready for any star answer and help them to be prepared? What do you mean by ask them to be for any, what do you mean by that? I'm not really sure. When you say call to people reference, are you referring to you being a reference or the employer doing a reference on you? If you could please verify that for me. Hey, Robin, you're welcome. Oh, hey, so you are Alexa from Patreon. You guys have so many different nicknames, I can't keep track. Half of my Patreon community is here. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and supporting my YouTube. You guys are all the reason that I made it past 6,000, by the way. Hey, Erden. 7 days have been passed for the loop. I emailed the recruiter about last situation, a 5th day. Should I ask again? I always, always, always ask to follow up. Here's the thing, guys. If you check out my last stream, which you should, by the way, the first 15 minutes is all about the interviewer and the recruiter and how you should have expectation of the employer, okay? And that's the bottom line. You spend your time interviewing for the employer, any employer. So the least they could do is follow up with you guys every 2 business days, if not within a week. Anything more than a week of not hearing back from an employer is not appropriate. Yes, I did mention that. I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but hey, no names, okay? Employers, you should never let your candidate wait for more than a week. That's just not acceptable in my book. When you do that, the candidate are going to start questioning, do I really want to work for this company? Do I really want to work for this hiring team? I was really pumped and excited, but even if I get an offer, you know, this is really the preview of what you're getting into with the specific team or employer, okay? So recruiters, hiring leaders, bar raiser, whatever you want to call yourself, interviewers, you have to make sure that you get back with your candidates. And good candidates are not going to wait around. Yes, it's a pandemic. A lot of great talent are getting laid off right now. A lot of people, millions of people are affected by the pandemic, but that doesn't mean that they're not good for Amazon. So don't overlook that and think that they really need to work for an employer and you should treat them any differently. Any employer, okay? Yes, I'm preaching to employer right now. Burwa says, what sort of questions are targeted for the on-site round? Well, funny that you asked me that, Burwa. I have a video called the on-site Amazon process, so go check out that video. Okay, hi Monte, how are you? You got a job offer, yay! I did tell you guys, right? Every single day, I actually get people reaching out to me that they actually land a job offer. And so far in this live session and every single live session, there's at least 3+ people who show up. I love that. Thank you so much, Monte and RTB and everyone that kept on showing up. I wanted to tell you guys, and I'm not calling you out. Actually, I'm calling you out without calling you out directly. When you're asking me all this question, it's already in all of my content. All these folks here, at the very bare minimum, they have watched my Amazon playlist. They have watched every single Amazon leadership principle. They have answered every single behavioral questions. They have used every single one of my templates. They even show me their templates. Okay, and that's how all of these folks at all level, okay, all level, even a principal or senior leader are getting job offer without even having a single conversation with me. So thank you so much for coming back and encouraging everyone to come back every single week, and it will be every single day starting next week. Okay, it works, guys. You really just have to do the research. You have to do the work. Hey, Song. Song says, I made it to the finance analyst loop on Monday. I'm sorry. I made it to the finance analyst loop. I did my pre-brief yesterday, and I am pumped. How should I best prepare for the case interview? The case interview, meaning the panel interviewed. You should prep the same way that you've prepped for all of your interview. When I say don't treat the bar raiser any different like anybody else, don't treat your phone interview or your initial interview with the hiring manager any different from the panel interviewed, okay? Because at the end of the day, you still need to know the Amazon leadership principle. You still need to have your stories together, okay? Go check out my on-site or panel interview video that was live 2 weeks ago. It is, again, if you go to my main channel, you can see all of that. I make it very easy for you guys. And if you guys are struggling answering any of those behavioral questions, you're not ready. You really have to create a spreadsheet and list out the STAR methods. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I also have a video on that. That's called the STAR methods. Top Flores says, how much time in advance do you need to prepare for an interview? Well, some may disagree with me, guys. I recommend at least, at the bare minimum, a month to 2 months. For the ones, for instance, for the clients that I have coached that came to me, before they even come to me, they had already prepped for a few weeks. When they come to me, they would prep for an additional few weeks. Okay? It takes roughly at least a month, meaning that you are a senior professional. You don't have a problem with your story. You already have your story, okay? And you communicate very well. You just need to be educated on the Amazon leadership principle to align your story to the core value of the leadership principle to stay concise within a minute or less. That will take you about a month. But if you don't even have your story together, it's going to take you at least 2 months. That is correct, guys. And that's what that's what my coaching services is about. You need to know your story and you need to start somewhere. If you have an on-site interview, if possible, I would push it back to 3 weeks and not have it the following week or 2 weeks if you don't have your story. Even if you have your story, you need to go back about 10 different times to rewrite your story to make them concise to the point with clarity. Lakshmi say, I have an on-site interview for an L6 STM. Can we use the same STAR story we use? And let me put this right here. The answer is no, no, and no. You could use, let me correct myself. And I actually, ironically, mentioned this. This is why I love going back to my live stream and manually put down the question and answer hyperlink for all of you guys so I can remember what is being said. One thing you guys got to remember, I've answered about 50 or more questions every single week or more. Okay, so eventually I'm gonna go. I'll have Alzheimer where I can't remember everything that I've said to you guys. But the L6 SDM or any other role, for you, you don't want to use the same scenario. If you're gonna repeat the same story, it's got to be different portion of your story. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, look at the last week's live stream. It's very simple. Okay. Last week's live stream, if you go in there, it will say what to do with the same story. That's literally what it's called. I actually put a hyperlink last night, and I know for a fact that it's in there last week. Check that out, Lakshmi. Hey, Laura. And Laura says, where can I find technical competency-based interview questions using the STAR methodology for Engage Manager? You actually can't really find that specific for Amazon specifically on the World Wide Web, because a lot of the folks, unless they are sharing their experience, a lot of them don't share. That's probably why you don't see it on there, Laura. But what you can do is you could ask the questions on google.com and do a little homework. And that's really my biggest tip for all of you guys on Quora. Quora is a great place. Quora is for those who have previously interviewed at Amazon, also Amazonian. They will go in there and they will guide you through the right place. I know that there's a lot of different type of technical questions, but if you, before you ask me a question, guys, on here, the first thing I would ask for everyone to do is to quickly do a search on Google, because everything that you guys are asking on here, you can find them on google.com. And if you can't do that, send me a message on LinkedIn, okay? Normally when I make that comment, about 90% of you guys don't message me on LinkedIn because you have found an answer, okay? You're welcome, Michael. Christy says, can you talk me through the hardest technical problem you've ever had to solve as an HRA? Well, the thing is, I've actually answered that for an HRA, but you have to look at my previous stream. It is called Walk Me Through the Hardest Technical Problem, or Walk Me Through the Most Complex Problem You Have Ever Solved. It's actually in there. Hey, Sam, welcome back. I'm a TPM phone screen with Amazon team tomorrow. Congratulations for making it that far. Prepare star for LP and system design patterns. Any last minute tips? Make sure your story is no longer than 1 minute, okay? One would say, you know, how do you prep for phone screen that's different for the on-site? You should be prepping for the same way. The formality and the structure that you guys are prepping yourself using the STAR methods for Amazon is an excellent way for you to use the same process for any employer. That's right, any employer, okay? So rather you're interviewing for Amazon or not, as mentioned, you never put your eggs in one basket. You want the other recruiters from multiple companies to reach out to you, and you are already prepped because you have your story ready to go, okay? I know the STAR method. I know the STAR method. I just can't really think of a time where I have faced technical problem that can consider large scale. Do you have an example to share with me? If you are, and I believe you're an HRA, let me go back here really quick. Yes, you're an HRA. Honestly, when it comes to an HRA, an example with that would be, that's more related to somewhat my industry. I'm recruiting in HR has a lot of similar functionality. I would say maybe think about the time that you wanted to produce data for your customers, okay? And you or your customer are not satisfied with the matrix of the reporting that you are producing or presenting to your customers. So that is actually a very good example for the HR or on the recruiting industry as far as a technical dive deep or problem, right? So what do? Explain the situation where you have gone above and beyond in figuring out what data or matrix your customer is looking for that can paint a story, and what problem are you trying to solve, and how do you work with your business analysts, especially in the HR or recruiting area. We do work with, we call them business analysts or the data team to help create different types of reporting. So what kind of problem are they helping you solve? Because any data engineer or business analyst can't solve a tools problem or systems problems when they don't partner with HR or us. Hang on.
I'm gonna go get the screws and all that stuff.
No problem.
Probably be back tomorrow morning by the time I get it all.
No problem.
I'll just screw it in really quick. And then
Thank you. No problem. That was my contractor telling me that he'll be back tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. I was saying, guys, so you wanted to make sure that you present a situation and what problem you're trying to solve regarding to any kind of technical information, okay? And if you don't have reporting is probably the best example that you could give, especially for Amazon. It's all about reporting, data, data analytics. Data always paints a story to solving a problem, right? Especially being new to an employer. of your previous job, for instance, what do? How do you know how to fill the gap when you're a new employee? What did you do? How did you look at the data from the previous year as an employee, right? Maybe you just changed team. How do you look at that? That's also called a technical problem in my industry where we're not technical, right? Another example is, maybe creating the recruiting website or job posting website. It's technical, job posting, right? Anything along the line where you have been involved in a project where you can make it easier for the candidates to find a job posting, maybe aligning it with the job posting number, reinventing the job posting website or the career page, anything along that area, those are excellent example. Okay? Hi, Dabishi. Greetings from India. Hi, Arfan. Arfan says, interview coming up Friday from an L6 APM product manager. Your video has helped. Well, thank you. I can't move this. I have failed my phone screen before, so you have been great help. You're welcome. And if you guys have a lot and you're struggling, I'm just reading through the comments, guys. A lot of the direct commonly asked questions, you may want to consider my Patreon because that's really what the community is for. And then we actually go through mock interviewed in my every weekly interview coaching as well. And there's a lot of resources where the community collaborate and help each other. And that's a VIP group. Okay. You guys can tell when I did my second live stream, which is about a month and a half ago or so, it was tell me about yourself. That alone took 2 to 3 hours, guys. Okay. That's how long it takes for me to give you answer and to give you answer that's relevant to all of your background. Now you guys understand why I don't pump out content to talk about one, because if I do that for a TPM or product manager, I have the recruiting and HR folk that's not going to be happy with me, and I can't please all of my audience. So it's better for me to give you guys not a generalized answer, but the meat of how you can come up with the answer. And I'm more than happy to read through all of them for me. I am planning the seeds for how I wanted to run my live stream for the entire month of August. And a lot of it is also reviewing some of the questions that you guys have right now as well. So give me your toughest interview questions that you're struggling to answer right here. So that will be coming up, okay? I won't be answering all of them in one live stream, but I will take one every single day. And I'm going to choose the one that are repetitive. That is the most asked from all of you guys. Hey, Defects. The recruiting manager interview for 90 minutes. And said was impressed with my knowledge of LP. Is this a sign of good section? It's a 2-day, no feedback yet. Well, I'm not sure what position you're interviewing for. Anytime if someone is impressed of your leadership principle knowledge, it's a good thing. Hey, Jin. Let me know how your interview went yesterday. Lashmi says, can we use the same? No, never use the same example. Rashmita is new. Rashmita says, I have my first interview on Monday with the hiring manager for an L6 position for a senior business analyst role. Which area should I focus on? There's a lot of business analysts on the previous stream. I would encourage for you to check that out. And again, the way how you guys prep, especially at an L6 level, which is a senior position, you have to demonstrate a lot of your leadership skill in that role as well. I talked a lot about that in the previous stream. Okay? Hey, Guang Kai, could you please briefly talk about the role of a BIE in Amazon? There's a lot of BIE in my previous stream, and I actually talked a whole lot about that. It's actually called Business Intelligence Engineer, or BIE. That's how you find the hyperlink. Okay? Amazon Interview Tips playlist. Look at it. I made it very easy for you guys. And if you can't find what you're looking for, come back next Tuesday and tell me you can't find it. I'm more than happy to do it again for you, but I know it's in there. You're welcome, Shemaine. Hi, Sandra. Sandra said this is my second live stream. I will have a phone interview for design engineer, logistic team. Cool. Been looking through your video and prepping. Do you know what type of question they'll be asked? For design engineer, typically, if not already, you would have a portfolio to share, unless that has changed with Amazon for design or design engineer. Normally, you have to show some type of project that you have done because it's design, okay? And the type of questions has a lot to do with the type of project or work that you have already done for not the logistic team. You don't have to have a background in logistic. You just have to have strong, solid solid experience in your design background. And if you want to know the technical environment more of what is needed, Amazon is the one company, what they say in a job description, really you're going to do 100% of that and probably 100% something else. But you have to meet at least 80% of the criteria in the job description. Hey, Thomas, I have a final phone call within the next week. It's 5 interviewer with a team member. Are all the interviewer really based on leadership principle? Yes, yes, and yes. And for all geography as well. Hi, Leonardo. Good seeing you again. Hey, Rafael from Chile. If I fail the code challenge, how much do I need to wait to apply again for the same role for SDE1? Is there a kind of blacklist in Amazon? Well, Rafael and everybody else, you all should know that even though I'm very transparent, there are things that I have to keep to myself because this is live stream. It's going to be on my channel forever and everyone can see it, okay? So I still have to keep my polishness up for the World Wide Web. I wouldn't say there's a blacklist, but generally when you have failed, when it comes to your technical environment, it does take anywhere between a year to 2 years, okay? Because the odds of you passing the code interview in 6 months is really slim. The best tip I can give you, Rafael, is if you are working for an employer right now, I would try to find a project where you could do more coding and solving more challenging problems that can help you make improvement and reapply within a year, especially with coding or problem solving, okay? Assuming that's what it is. And if you are not working right now, and this is just for all of you guys, how do you gain that experience? Well, I would see if I could take a course to brush up on coding, and there's a lot of code. There's a lot of course on that. I would also take volunteer work or project if you're not working right now, just so that you can gain that experience and do it again in a year, okay? Especially at a level 1 or SD1 is relevant to a level 4 at Amazon, okay? Tell me a time when you received constructive feedback. I like that a lot. You know what, Borwa, I believe I'm going to just make a video just for that. Just hang on, okay? That's not really, it is a time where you take any negative feedback and how do you turn that negative feedback into positive? That's really what I'm asking you. And a great example would probably be a feedback that you received from your manager, your direct manager, or your customer if you don't have that. I'm pretty sure you do, right? For example, in your weekly one-on-one with your manager or your performance reviewed, there's always the good and the bad. There's no such thing as everything is perfect. No such thing. So what are some of the areas that you need to improve on? That could be an example. And what are some of the tasks that you have done to make sure that you're taking that constructive feedback into making an improvement? And what was the end result of that? Okay. Hey, Rajit. Technical questions are the same thing for every single thing. You better know how to code and answer your design executions and project executions, depending on what position you're interviewing for. And guys, if you don't tell me what level or position you're interviewing for, it's hard for me to really coach you on that, okay? Because I don't want to randomly make things up for you. Hey, by the way, I know that 65 of you guys are watching me right now. I would push you a thumbs up if you're still excited. I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes and wrap this up. And if you are enjoying our time together, give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji, give me star, 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 give me something, because I really appreciate the YouTube algorithm to recognize that I have actually a large audience watching out. Don't be shy in the back office. Just give me a thumbs up if you are not comfortable asking questions. Okay? And by the way, here's a tip for you guys who has questions. That's why you guys are here, right? You can make up any username you want to and create a YouTube account and just join. Okay? Techie Zero to Hero. This is Deb passing again. My question is, I'm going to interview tomorrow on site, second round solution architect. Any suggest that you could? Thanks a lot. Techie Zero to Hero, I have a lot for solution for solution architect. In fact, the first 5 stream was all about solution architect. When I'm asking you guys to go back and not rewatch everything that I do, I'm not wasting your time, okay? When I mentioned that I actually go back in like this, I've been live streaming for about 2 hours already. I'm going back for 2 hours to rewatch this so you guys don't have to, and write down my Q&A on there. If you go back, just look for SA or Solution Architect or Solution Architect. That's telling me I have to go pick up my kid. So, or solution architect, the answer is right there, okay? And the primary reason, guys, I'm not being a bad person, why I don't like to repeat myself, is that 50% of my audience are coming back, and you guys can tell. My Patreon community is also here. If I keep on repeating myself, it will waste their time with me, and I wanted to get through all of the answer that I have not answered yet, all right? I'm here for you. You just let me know if you can't find what you're looking for. Hi, Isaac. Oh, you're welcome. Hi, Priya. Rameshus, how many behavioral questions do you get? That question is not relevant because each interviewer will ask you about 2 to 3 leadership principle questions, and they have at least 3 plus follow-up questions, okay? So it's irrelevant, guys. 2 things that's irrelevant when it comes to prepping for your interview. 1, who should you please? Hiring manager and bar racer? Oops. And 2 is how many questions, behavioral, it's not irrelevant. The most relevant thing I can give you guys is once you know your background well enough and have your story, you should be able to ace any question. Okay? Hi, Daph. I have my second interview with Amazon for a billing analyst. Good luck. Wish you best of luck. Rajit says, what are your thoughts on a level 3 position at Amazon with an MS in CS degree? That's excellent. If you're just getting your college degree, there's nothing better than getting a master in CS, because at a level 3 position, all you really need is your CS fundamental. Ugh, can't talk. I can't talk right now. I need my coffee. CS fundamental. Speak, Holly, speak. Okay? What I mean by that is that the interviewer don't really expect someone in a junior position to answer all of the questions, but they will give you hints and hold your hand to guide you through in solving the problem. You will get a job offer from Amazon if you can solve the problem eventually. But they do realize that if you don't have the industry background and only academia, they wanted to see with amount of time that they are coaching you, are you able to complete the question? Hey, Luca, does the recruiter take notes and upload them in the system? All the interviewer take notes and upload them in the system, and it stays there forever, by the way. Yep, and I just answered that question about repeating the same story. Red Riding Hood, I don't think I've seen you in the last stream. That's probably the first stream that I didn't see you. My interview with Amazon came to an end, but 2 days later, I attended a contract sales op role interview at Google and scored an offer, and I joined next month. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Yay! So Google love to hire contractor. They're very famous with contractor, and I do see them convert after between 6 months to a year. Okay, it's a great opportunity to get your foot in the door, even as a contractor. Red Riding Hood, and I know that's your name. That's not your name. It's very hard to land any kind of position at Google. So congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Hi, Jane. Is it okay? No, I've answered quite a number of you guys. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're typing your questions, one thing you notice that everyone has asked me, is it okay to use the same story? Is not okay. You maybe can use the same scenario, but never the same story. Okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to look at the previous stream. Hi, Dave. Dave is interviewing for a senior IC project. Kapoor wrote, the STAR method helped me answer. Tell me about a time, technical situation. Well, the STAR method is supposed to help you answer all of the behavioral questions and technical question, guys, because it helps you structure and think about what problem you're going to solve and how you can come up with a conclusion. Thanks for sharing that, Dave. There is at least 6 of you guys asking me the same questions of using the same story with the interview loop. The one thing that I am going to coach all of you guys is you got to start paying attention with the question that's asking and try to ask different questions so that you don't have to wait until the very end to get them answered, okay? Still love you all. Hey, Jamester. How are you, Jamester Mainster? That's amazing that you will be live in August. You know what, Jamester? The reason why I'm taking this challenge is that because, as mentioned, I have so many of you telling me that you landed a job offer mainly at Amazon. I wanted to see if I were to show up every single day for you guys, how many of you guys are going to show up every single day? Not for me, for you guys. You're supporting my channel, which is awesome, but for you guys. And this is free coaching. Why wouldn't you want to be here? Okay. I want you guys to blow up my YouTube channel. I want you all to come back in every single day for 31 days to tell me that you have a job offer. Okay. And more importantly, I want you to share your feedback in creating your story and what part did you struggle. So the 60, 100 people that was here earlier on can benefit from that. And the whole intent of even having this channel is so that all of you guys can get a job offer. Hey, Shuang. Hi, Ken. You welcome. Do you know top salary range for reliability planner role? Well, I can't tell you right now on top of my head because I'm live streaming. I would encourage you to do a research on salary.com first and see what you find. Also, in the last previous stream, I do have a session called Salary Negotiation. Check that out, guys. Priya, that's a great question. Any suggestions to get noticed from a pool of resume? The reason why I don't talk a whole lot about resume, eventually I'm going to do a resume review that's probably going to be sometime in August. I just have to have enough people who's interested in that so I'm not wasting everybody's time. I do offer that service for my Patreon community. Oh, can't talk. Community, okay? The way to stand out in your resume and your LinkedIn profile, you just have to make things really popped. You have to construct it to the point where I am finding what I look for and I know what you have done, what you have built, who you've helped in 10 seconds. That's how you stand out in your credential. And guys, you don't hear me talk about resume at all because your LinkedIn profile is so important. You don't hear me talk about cover letter at all as well. We'll talk about it in a different live stream in the future one that's coming up pretty quickly, okay? So the bottom line is you need to highlight your achievement, the things that you've done as quickly as possible, especially during the pandemic time. And we're going through the pandemic for at least another year, if not 2. So however you do your resume and LinkedIn profile, you need to cut it in half. You're welcome, Priya. Hey, Jill. For SDM, there's a lot of different questions, as I mentioned, for the system design part. Go look at the previous stream and early on in the stream, okay? And hey, Techie Zero to Hero. Your solution architect question is truly, guys, solution architect, program manager, TPM, PMT, and STM, HRA. Basically, all of you guys, there are a lot of similar questions in the previous stream. I'm not ignoring your questions. If I am, I'm trying to tell you the content is already there for you. Red Riding Hood says, I want to share my experience if anyone is so much interested in finding PR. I saw the word bar raiser in chime window to the left side of the corner and found that he was the BR. Wow, that's a really good tip. I didn't realize that in chime it actually gave you the name of the bar raiser. You see that, guys? That's how you know if someone's a bar raiser. But if I were you, I wouldn't pay attention to that. The main reason is that if you know who the bar raiser is, your anxiety level will go up. Okay, I would rather you just be cool, be yourself, be your authentic self. That way you could paint your story much more clear. Hey, Simply Love, you welcome. You're praying to pass your interview. CBH says, I also want to speed up the process. All of you guys do. You have to prep your interview the same thing as everything that I've just mentioned, but you kind of have to coach your recruiter. Yes, I said that. Coach the recruiter. It's not that they forgot about you. A lot of them are truly really busy. So it's good to stay tap on them every few days and maintain that relationship. Okay? Even if the role doesn't work out, you want to be able for them to help refer them to other teams. All recruiters have friends within recruiting as well. In a disagree question, what is the best possible answer? Well, first, I got to ask you this. Have you already looked at my Amazon Leadership Principle, specifically on disagree and commit? Because I actually talk about the tips and give you all the resources and how you can create your answer. Todd Flores says, will Amazon people ask for, will they be asking star questions? Of course they will. Amazon interviewer really appreciate it if you use the star format, which is, I like to use an example of ABC company where the problem was ABC. I have to solve this problem because if I don't, the impact will be, XYZ. The end result, because I put in a program, EFG, this is the end result. You see where I'm going? So when you explain things like that, and that's the STAR methods, guys. When you do it like that, the interviewer, first of all, any interviewer will follow your story to a T and it gets the point. Remember, our attention span is so short right now. It's very pressured and you really want to just get right to the point. Hey, Rashmita. Hi, Andrea. You're welcome. Hey, Junaid. Many PM, even at a level 7 position. Make sure you check that out, okay, Junaid? Hey, James. Many product manager as well on the previous stream, as well as finance analysts. And Aruland. I have an interview for a senior TPM with previously only limited risk management experience due to the internal team only. How to sell it correctly? That's an excellent answer. Okay, guys, what do you do when you're interviewing at Amazon where you don't have the industry experience? That's why they okay, let me just take a step back. The reason why the recruiter reaches out to you and also you are scheduled for an interview with Amazon is because they saw your scope, things that you have done. I also have a client I'm smiling because I know you're watching right now. Hint, hint, coming from a construction background, even if you don't have the software, e-commerce, consumer devices experience or cloud experience, it's about the work that you have done that is relevant, okay? So that's got to be something from your scope that Amazon is attracted to, that you can translate a lot of that experience into the Amazon environment. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about, if it makes sense to you. That is why. So guys, please don't worry about the industry experience, but focus on creating your story. That's what risk management is huge at Amazon. Risk management is huge at any big organization because of that risk of management, okay? So there's got to be some meat in your background that's telling me that you are coming from a technical background as well. So when you're doing system design and whatnot, it may not be on a software's perspective or e-commerce, but keep it in the spectrum that you are familiar with. And guys, if you don't understand something, especially in solving a technical problem, make sure you tell the interviewer, okay? And if you need a moment to get your thoughts together, take a moment. When I say take a moment, don't take more than 5-10 seconds. Just say, if I could, let me gather my thought really quick here. Pause, 5 seconds, 10 is really the max, and then come out with a solution. You're welcome, Raphael. Hello, Anlu. Hello, James. Hello. Thank you for the star, 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 star. You guys, if you don't notice, I love my star. These are the people who have landed a job offer and they do nothing but creating a template with using star. Hi, Karima. Wait, what? Thanks for your help. I got the offer. Yay! Oh my God, we just had a conversation yesterday. Thank you. I know, I need to tone down here. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. You just made my day. We literally have a coaching session yesterday about this. Yes, thank you. I advise to all of you to join Holly's pay. Oh, thank you. Karima is actually in my VIP group where we do mock interview every single week for 2 hours. To go through all of the questions, challenges, as well as the star template. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you, Nee. Hey, Carla, star, star, star. Hey, thank you, Swang. You welcome, Burwa. I am going to find questions, okay? Thank you, everybody. You're welcome very, very much. I love all of you guys, and seeing all of your thumbs up, your star. And I think that was the 5th person today that tells me that you receive a job offer from Amazon. So you guys made my day, okay? I will see you guys next week. If you have any more questions, and I just scroll through, I don't see anything else that I have not say yes. And Vincent, I know you're new. I haven't met you yet. Luca, you're new. A couple of you guys, you're new. And half of you guys are my Patreon follower. Thank you so, so much, everyone, spending your time with me. Until next week, I will see you soon, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.